All right, I'm done wiring a few accessories. Handily, Royal Enfield leaves one plug just terminating in a little, well, blanking plug. And the tag on it says Accessory. Thanks, Royal Enfield. Well thought out. It's also close to the front, so you might want to connect your heated grips or whatever accessory you might want. In my case, I wanted to connect multiple things, and one of which, the lights, is power hungry, so those connect directly to the battery with a little relay that is built in the box. In addition to the lights, I wanted to connect the GPS charger and wired the cable. It goes under there, zip tied neatly, and then in here in this triangular spot underneath, there's a great home for a bunch of wiring because it's empty. So the GPS power module that converts 12 volts down to 5 probably for the GPS lives here, and then the cable from it continues down here and goes under here and ends up out here with a fuse, which is great, and a little label Garmin, and then it plugs into another plug like the accessory plug, because I wanted to standardize everything. And since the accessory plug on the other side that you just saw is this type, I bought a kit of 10 plugs from Amazon for like $8. I also bought a couple of relays that are really tiny, and so from that accessory plug, actually jumping around a little, but it will make everything make sense. So this accessory outlet that is provided, what I have connected to it is a splitter that I got from Hitchcock's, which splits the single output into two outputs. I put the plug back into the second output, and the first output is under here now zip tied, so you can't see it, but it's a plug just like this that leads down here to the relay that I just showed you out there as well. And I put little labels on what the wires are. The orange one that is always on, I clipped off and electric taped, because I don't think I will ever want anything that would always have power. I don't know, maybe like alarm system or something like that could be handy. Anyway, I just clipped it off. And then from here, the wires from the relay go obviously straight to the battery, one of them, and the other one comes from the negative terminal, and they end up in, oh, things are in the way now. Yes, they end up terminating with a plug like this as well. And then from that plug, I just wired a single plug into 5 splitter. Maybe I should have put some heat shrink tubing on this. Maybe I'll put some electric tape or something to hold these two together. Anyway, so that's one thing that is wired is the Garmin. The other thing that is wired are the cables of the lights that you just saw. They go down here and then they just disappear. But actually they go in here and then continue next to the airbox, also hidden away. Looking at it from the side, you can't really tell that there's a ton of new stuff added. And then they go down here, and similarly on the other side. And the excess wires are coiled up under here. That's the other thing, that's the only thing that I'm not super happy about, is that all the excess wiring I kind of stuffed it in different places, so it's not going to be, I'll still have easy access to the battery to change it, but I'm not a fan of a bunch of coiled wire. But that's the way it goes. I'm not willing to just cut off the excess and splice or connect stuff together. Maybe on the next bike project. So excess of the lights goes here, and then it ends up at a little control box over there. From the control box, there are 3 thick wires that get wired forward to the light switch, and then to each of the lights. And then another wire that is relatively thick that goes to it had like terminal clips, but I cut them off and made it into a connector that is a standard one here. And then there's one more wire that triggers the built-in relay that is inside that box. So the lights are on double relay, unfortunately, as it turns out, but I wanted everything connected through a single relay that I put in, and the fact that lights have a relay of their own is just a bonus. But that's why this plug only has the power wire, because it's for triggering the relay, also labeled. And so we have Garmin, 2 switches, 2 plugs for lights, and then the last bit, this one, only has the ground wire. What could it be? It's the ground for FuelX. FuelX is the last thing that I put in and wired up. It can live right here. There's a convenient spot. I don't know what belongs there. It had 2 plastic like legs like this that were plastic posts that were sticking out. I broke off one of them so that FuelX would fit neatly. That was not my favorite to break things off, but there isn't anything that came in this spot. So these seem to be just taking up space. They hold the fuses and whatnot, the bracket, but the actual legs are excessive. Anyway, from that, there are a bunch of cables that go as well. One cable goes out here and goes through 2 plugs. One of the plugs has connects to this cable, which is also kind of fat and inconvenient to route. So it coils up in there and then goes along here again from afar. Not very obvious that a bunch of stuff has been wired, but it comes up to the steering wheel control. And the second side is the one that has the little ground wire that we just saw that ends up plugging into this. I considered combining these two, the relay power wire and FuelX ground wire, because now I have 2 plugs, one of which has a ground and one of which has a power. But in order to be able to, well, it just seems silly to have a single plug that will control 2 devices or provide things for 2 devices. And secondly, if I wanted to take the FuelX out for whatever reason, for reasons we will not speak of out loud, if I needed to take the FuelX out, I can easier do that if it's on a separate plug. And this will go down in there, and then it will fold down nicely here. Right, and the rest of that wire goes hidden away, goes along the tank here, and then it terminates in 2 plugs for the Lambda O2 sensor, which lives on this plastic plug panel. There are 3 on the front. Why is this one wiggly like that? Is it not? No, that's just how it is. And then 2 on the back. You can see there's a red one. I'm not sure what it is, but the other one is missing. That's where the Lambda O2 sensor lives. But now it doesn't sit on there because It's disconnected, and the FuelX connector is plugged into both sides of the disconnected OEM plug. So I'm quite pleased with how it turned out, and I am very grateful for Royal Enfield for providing the accessory power light right there. I admit that I didn't notice it right away. I tried wiring in my my own relay into the USB port plug that terminates down here, which is, surprise, surprise, the same standard plug. And that didn't work. Maybe I messed something up. Then I tried wiring it into the fuel gauge sensor, and that seemed to work until I actually plugged in the fuel gauge sensor, and then the fuel gauge must be taking up all the power that is allotted, and maybe dropping the voltage to the point where the relay is not actually triggering, or I don't know. I'm a total layman with electrical stuff, so I don't know. But I do know that I tried this one. It didn't. Well, I tried the USB plug first. It didn't work. Tried this. It didn't work. And then every time I would put it back together, oh no, it's not working. Take it back apart. So finally, I started looking on this side, and bright red, right, sitting right there, not connected to anything, is a plug that has, it even has a little tag called Accessory. I'm afraid the tag might fall off. Yeah, I already broke it off while messing with it. Anyway, this is how things are wired. The seat mounting plate will go here, and then once you remove the seat, you will still have access to the battery. Like I said, if I needed to replace the battery, I won't need to mess with any of the wires. The only two new connectors to the battery are, well, I have two additional terminals, or additional connectors on the battery. I think all of them might come with a battery charger, so that's one of them. And the second one goes to my relay, and everything else is powered off of that. The relay is rated for 20 amps. The GPS charger is probably maybe 2 amps. And the lights have a fuse for 15 amps. Also, each of the accessories, except for FuelX because it takes the power from the plug, has its own fuse as well. So I'm confident that the relay is not going to be overloaded by the consumption that the accessories are going to pull. And if one of them misbehaves and starts asking for more power than it deserves, then its fuse is going to blow. So it's not going to mess with any of the others. So that's all. Now to put it back together and go for a test ride. Thanks. Bye.